Good to see you, Ian Rapoport.
What's up?
What time did you go to sleep? I was at 1:15 in the morning.
1:30.
But I'm also not getting texts from the free world. Were people still up, like saying, what do you think?
Everybody
or
was
you're
still
hearing
up.
information?
Those are actually some of the best conversations. I will never forget when it was like 1:15 in the morning,
right,
probably like 8 years ago or whenever that was, and a young general manager named Brett Veach called me and was like, we just got the best player in the draft. And I'm like, Mahomes? I don't know. Like, people talk about how raw he is. He is no. And so, like, that was the start of Veach very famously sending Mahomes clips to be like, yeah, but look at what he did here. And it's like the pure elation when someone feels like they nail a pick is just amazing. So, like, yeah, I would say, like, I was getting calls. You know, people will be like, what do teams think of our pick is actually like a very common question. Like, we got this guy, we're really happy. What do other teams think? So I had a little small glass of bourbon and fielded phone calls till 1:30 in the morning.
Till 1:30 in the morning, and then you finally tapped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking at just the way people were reacting to not our broadcast, but what other broadcasts were doing, you know. And I was just seeing people's reaction to what the picks were, you know. And then also just trying to set the stage for today as to why certain players might still be out there. And then I just said, I got to get to sleep, you know.
Yeah, I wonder. You know, I don't watch back other broadcasts. I only watch NFL Network, of course,
right.
Which is I actually really do only watch NFL Network. But it was so fast.
It did go fast.
I could not believe. From 1 to 12.
Right.
And like I was
Ian Rapoport here on the Rich Eisen Show, back here in Detroit. I'm sitting at the Rich Eisen Show desk on the Rich Eisen Show radio network. Its desk is furnished by Grainger with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger has the right product for you. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Rap Sheet checking out his phone. People texting you right now? What are they texting you right now?
They want to know what's going on with the 49ers receivers and who's going early tonight.
Okay, so let's jump in first on the Falcons.
Okay.
And because you were telling all of us for the last few days, Penix Jr. is in play at 8, and then it's the Falcons pick, and they get in my ear saying, let's go to Ian. And I say, all right, Ian, and you're like, I'm telling you guys, like, one last time, Michael Penix Jr. is, I think you said, very much in play for the 8th overall pick in the draft.
You hear so many rumors leading up to the draft, and this one would just not go away. And I had heard that they took a trip. Look, if you're going to do a fake out, right, then it's a long fake out to go from Atlanta to Washington. Like, I don't know if you can get further. Right? So they went and met with him and did the whole thing.
But he never visited top 30 there? Is that
never visited, but I don't know why you would. Like, if you're going to go out and meet with him, like, that's enough, right?
Okay.
And then there's always the fear that, like, someone finds out about the top 30, they go, oh, maybe the Falcons take them, and then it's like someone trades up over them. So, like, you got to do your homework, but you have to be careful that someone doesn't jump you, right? Like,
right.
So anyway, so I hear this rumor. I talk to some people. I'm like, all right, I'll say it on the pregame show, and I felt good about it, but God, you just never know. Like, is someone really going to do it? And then I got another call kind of further explaining why Penix makes sense right before the pick, and I'm like, oh my God, it has to be him.
So why does it make sense? Make sense of it.
It makes sense because there's nothing more important than the quarterback. And, like, could they have taken an edge rusher who I think would have been Dallas Turner? Yeah. They could have taken Byron Murphy? Yes. Very important players. Nothing's as important as a quarterback.
But didn't they just already fill that need?
Yeah.
With a very enriching contract for a veteran that brings a certain sense of excellence to their franchise?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think here's how I see it.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins made them whole and normal. They have a good roster. He is a legitimate starting quarterback. Wherever you think he ranks, like 10th or 15th or I have no idea, wherever people think Kirk Cousins is, okay? Legitimate, good starting quarterback, makes him a good team, makes him a playoff contender. That is basically a 2-year proposition, okay? It's a 4-year contract, but guaranteed money is 2 years. So then it's like, if you can make sure And this was a battle for them to replace Matt Ryan with someone who's good and capable. And it cost them $100 million at least. So if you can say for, not this year, not next year, you have a very good backup for the next couple of years, fine. And if something happens, you have a starter. But let's say from 2 years from now till 12 years from now, you're done. You got a guy. You don't have to worry about it. You're just good. To me, that's worth everything. It's the same argument I would make with the Packers when people would be like they needed a weapon. Why would they take a quarterback? I'm like, nothing matters if you don't have a quarterback. So I understand the pick. I like the pick. Might it help them 0 this year? It might. Best case scenario, it helps them 0 this year. That is okay.
The thing I just don't understand is that when you sign a quarterback for a 4-year deal, even if it's 2 years of real money,
right,
fine, you do that, then you've taken care of business for your quarterback position to try and win a Super Bowl right here and right now. Nobody, when he was signed, was saying, well, but what about 2027? What about 2028? That's not the way you do things in the NFL if you want to win right here and right now. You're not worrying about that. Like, that would have been like the Jets taking J.J. McCarthy at 10 last night. Where Aaron Rodgers is, 2 years to go, 3 years to go, coming off an Achilles, just like Kirk Cousins. We need to get somebody at 10 right now who's going to be playing for the next, 12 years.
I like the argument.
And that, to me, I even said that from this, and I want J.J. McCarthy to play for my team for the rest of my life based on what just happened this past year. And I thought that made no sense.
I think it makes sense. I would not.
You would have taken J.J. McCarthy if Rodgers coming back. He's Achilles heel. He's rehabbing. Thanks for coming back, Aaron. Here's a kid who's going to take your job, and that's what Atlanta just did.
Well,
first Cousins.
Green Bay did that, and he won back-to-back MVPs.
Well, right. So there's always the chance that Jets didn't do it, obviously, but there's always the chance that Rodgers gives them the finger, as he did in Green Bay, and goes, "Cool, you take that guy, great. He'll sit, he'll watch me. I'm going to be an MVP." I actually thought Kirk Cousins might kind of do the same thing. You want to take that guy? Let's have him watch me for 2 years. Like the Rodgers reaction, which was, the ultimate double bird, probably made him a better player. Maybe this makes Cousins a better player. But here's the other thing. I don't care about any of that because the Packers are set up for the next 10 years now. And, I don't know where the Jets had J.J. McCarthy, and I don't really get the sense they seriously considered him or Penix or any of the other guys. But I don't hate the argument because think about what it cost to get Rodgers. Second-round pick, a ton of money,
What a head scratcher. I hear you, and I totally know what it's like roster building and money wise, and the back end of the contract, $6.8 million over the last 2 years, leading into a 5th-year option for a starting quarterback in the NFL.
It's pretty good.
That is chump change. I mean, and Michael Penix Jr. is no chump, but all right, we'll see. You mentioned Ian Rapoport here on the Rich Eisen Show, the 49ers wide receiver situation. What can you tell me about what almost happened last night and what still is in play going into tonight?
Yeah, that was a fun one last night. That was another one where, I'm pitching my topics on air, and I'm kind of like, all right, this can be interesting if the 49ers take a receiver. And, I kind of thought they were going to take a tackle. And then I'm like, I guess there's a chance they take one. And I was surprised that it was Pearsall. I think a lot of people had him in the second round. Kyle's a very good scout. I think he knows offensive skill players, so I will trust him. But I was a little surprised he went that early.
Well, he said Aiyuk even texted him to say that was a fire pick. So
they were teammates, weren't they?
Yeah, Arizona State. Because he transferred to Florida from Arizona State. And, into the SEC from Arizona State, just like Jaden Daniels. But so were they close to trading Aiyuk last night, or Deebo? Is Deebo in play at all? So
I don't get the sense that they were close to trading Aiyuk last night. I think they would have done it maybe for a 1, but it kind of feels like this is not, I wouldn't say this is like reporting. This is more just my general feel of the situation.
Sure.
It feels more like there's a little bit of a push to keep Aiyuk now. And could Deebo be had? Maybe. I think if you're, Brandon Aiyuk is a very good player. I think they have made offers out to him to pay him a very well compensated receiver. It's not there yet, and the market has gone up, as we learned last night right before the draft and several other times this week.
With A.J. Brown.
Yeah, and then the Amon-Ra deal, I think, helped Ayuk's market. But keep your young, good players, and if Deebo's got 2 years left. He's already been paid once. Teams might be interested. Like, I could see it.
That Deebo could be the one traded tonight.
Maybe, yeah. I know it's hard to do because you want to get a guy physical, and so worst case scenario is, let's say the 49ers trade him tonight on the clock for a third rounder or something, and then God forbid he fails a physical, and then you're like, they already used the pick, so it's hard to do. Could you agree on it? It's a challenge. Like you remember when Hollywood Brown got traded to the Cardinals and it was broken on the clock? He was already in Arizona having taken a physical, and he literally showed up at their draft party being like, I'm here, but the deal was done because his physical was done. So it's a challenge. It really
so we
is.
need to look at doctors in certain towns that are looking at a D, Samuel.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say D, Bo. That
No. That would be wild if something like that happens tonight. What's Bills fans want to know what's up, and I think they're more concerned with the fact that they actually let the Chiefs jump them, and if Xavier Worthy beats them in a division game or a conference final or something like that, that would be quite something. But
I get it.
What's the Bills' philosophy by trading down with the Chiefs and then out?
Yeah, it's funny.
First?
Like, I was thinking about this because it's like, oh man, like I can't believe the Bills, let the Chiefs take this receiver, and then it's like, well, it's not like the Bills made the Chiefs good. Like, Chiefs are already good. They won the Super Bowl. They're pretty good. Now did they make them better? Like, maybe, but the Bills are in a weird spot. It feels like a reset year. It feels like a collect picks and cheap assets year and use as many picks as you can. So the Bills, I tweeted earlier, and I'm going to mess it up now, but in one of their trades, they gained 30 places. 30, was a pick swaps. And then in another one of the trades, they gained 59 or something like that. And that's pretty good. Like, that's really, so, I assume the Bills like Xavier Worthy. I think most people had him as a first rounder, kind of around where he was taken. I think the Bills might have taken a receiver at 32, where the Panthers came up and flopped with them. I don't know they would have taken the guy the Panthers took, but my guess is it would have been a
the guy the Panthers took, as Daniel Jeremiah said last night, told the world, said the Panthers told me.
I could not believe
Xavier Legette was telling everybody, the Panthers told me they're going to take me with the first pick of the second night. And
they were cringing when he said that. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I know. And
we told you that in confidence.
Canales' response to try and cover those tracks was just like, well, we told 50 players the same thing.
Nah.
But then they traded up to get the kid and get a fifth-year option on him as well. Yeah. So the Bills trading out. Is it possible the Bills are traded out because they gave themselves an entire evening and day to try and pry Deebo or Aiyuk loose from San Francisco?
I didn't get that sense,
okay.
no. I don't know if they have the cap space. They only have like $3 million in cap space, and Deebo's making like $12 million, something like that. So you got to, he's making more than that, but I think that's his cap hit. I'd have to look it up. You got to be able to absorb. Yeah, you got to be able to absorb it. So, like, I don't know that they could do it. I guess you can do anything, but I don't get that sense. I get the sense they would like to find their own Deebo Samuel or their own, let's say it's a receiver, to get their own. I mean, that's, again, like, this feels like a reset year. But I there's nothing wrong with, for Brandon being in the Bills to be like, that deal made sense to them. Let's take a day. Maybe someone offers us more. Maybe, the 33rd pick doesn't get traded a ton, but maybe someone offers us something we can't refuse. So take a deep breath, get the assets, take a day.
Before I let you go, what are you expecting tonight? Crystal ball. What do you have?
I'll be watching some, see if we'll have some trades. I don't think very many quarterbacks.
Okay.
I would say
run on who? Running backs?
We'll get
receivers.
We'll get some running backs.
Really?
There's going to be running backs and receivers.
Okay.
Maybe, there's some defensive guys still on the board.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid, Cooper DeJean. There's some guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patriots wide receiver?
No. I don't understand. I could see what you're. Who cares? Wow, hold on a second.
We're going to get better on defense, too.
No. I know the look of an information man. Like you're about to say something and then didn't want to because you're not as comfortable about sharing that. Did that moment just happen with you right there? Did that moment just happen with you?
Yeah. I mean.
Like I was about to say this, but I don't know if I should.
Well, this is the problem with coming on shows like this is you feel like we're just having a conversation in your living room.
Yeah.
So it's like you're
my job.
just sharing, and then it's like, well, that's
like
not
you
ready
use
for
it on a
print
reel
yet.
on Instagram or anything like that. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
It. You almost did it. I saw it.
Should have given me some bourbon.
I'll see it. Oh, that's later
know
tonight.
better next time.
Good to see you. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see
Thank
you. Thanks.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.